Hi there. Welcome to another presentation by us at Albertina Technologies. Today we're wanting to go through all the head office operations, application that we call SoftwearforFashion Avantage. It's the back office application. It deals with sort of everything non-point of sale, so to speak. Obviously, you've got your stock take capabilities of all the stock items you carry in your warehouse, but there's a range more functionalities. Obviously, creation of your inventory items, your placing of obviously your purchase orders, the allocation, distribution of your stock through to your stores. There's the warehousing aspects, dealing with various different cartons, pack sizes, pre-packs. There's a little term we call V-packs, which I'll sort of elaborate on a little bit further. Similar to a pre-pack, just with the option of having a sort of a varying quantity. It doesn't have to be so stringent in terms of a size curve. There's also a range of other things to do with price markdowns, promotions. That we've got some additional functionality to do with things like loyalty schemes, mass import of inventory items, of purchase orders, stock count facilities when stock arrives. If you're unloading sort of a container or many cartons, it's a sort of tedious procedure. There's those things as well. We've also got costing modules and the likes of. So what I'm wanting to do really is just to go through, not necessarily in too much depth, otherwise we could be here for a while, but touch on a few aspects, take you through them, elaborate slightly on those, and then really just sort of brush over some of the other features that you might find sort of very valuable. If we start with the inventory module, that's possibly a good place to start. We sort of take into our product master. What our product master does is it contains really all the inventory items, the associated attributes therewith, and those attributes obviously are sort of invaluable when viewing reporting. But one of the problems always with defining so many sort of variables, so many attributes of the particular product, is that it becomes time consuming. So the ways that we get around that are we have defaults. So based on the classification that's selected, you can see the classification at the top here. Based on whichever particular classification you select, you can set up a set of defaults to go with that. So there's a range of information that can get populated. For argument's sake, things like gender, things like your gender down here, for argument's sake, your size ranges can be populated because those are specific to sort of boys' footwear. You can have seasons that you default. Obviously, things like brand are very difficult to default, but it makes life very easy having to fill in sort of very few sets of details. The other way is obviously through an item import, which I mentioned previously, which allows you very quickly, very easily to import thousands of products off an Excel spreadsheet. If that's something that you have access to, depends obviously on your business principles. So if we just have a look, see what the various different sort of attributes can be. As mentioned previously, software for fashion, very specific to the fashion industry, footwear, clothing, sportswear, safety wear, those types of things, very inherent within the product. And those are made clear just by the sort of vast array of ways of defining a particular item, should we say. So things like brand, texture, these sort of 6 items that you can see down here, those are all completely customizable. So I've defined them as things like lifestyle for casual wear, the construction of the garment or the unit, what is the cut, this is shoe cut, but it could be sort of the cut of jeans, the sleeve length, those types of things. You can also define whether they're enforceable, so that they have to be entered each and every time a code is created. You've also got the same thing that appear down here with these 4 items. The main difference is these will apply to a style, whereas these will apply specifically to a color variant or a colorway of that style. So you've got even more depth there. And as you can see, there's a vast number of items there. Within the classification as well, we have 6 tiers. So this particular example, you can see footwear, boys wear, tackies, all-star, casual wear. So we've already got 4 classifications, 4 level tier structure there, along with all this other information, which really makes life very, very easy to report on and very valuable. If we just sort of browse through the tabs, your color, sell, and cost tab details the different selling and cost prices. as you can see, there's multiple prices that have been applied to this particular product over the date ranges there. You can obviously forward set prices to increase, to decrease, to be on promotion, specific branches, on all branches. And it gives you a huge amount of flexibility. We'll touch on a little bit more of that later when I deal with what we call a price maintenance, which is like a markdown, a promotion, that type of thing. We've also got the ability to add pre-packs here. So this is a predefined sort of size curve that you would buy in. Now this, just as an example, I created. It's a boys high top from 2 to 5.5 is the size curve, and those are the units that you would go and buy. So as well as ordering, distributing through to the point of sale in individual sort of sizes, or break bulk as it can be called, you also have the ability to buy and distribute within a pre-pack. To simply say one of those packs, 3 of these packs, whatever it may be, makes life a lot easier from a head office point of view and from a warehouse point of view. We also have the branch inventory tab. Now within the branch inventory we have a range of different branches, and you can see here the balance of stock that applies within those. We have various different features here, IS min, IS max, whether it's in-store minimums and maximums, so those can be used for suggested replenishment. ROL is a reorder level and an economic order quantity, so you can go as far as to say I need to order when it hits this level, but I also should take into account that this particular quantity I will obtain the best price when ordering. If we move through the tabs, you have the branch details, which detail again the sizes and those mins and max, and then we have the inventory, the stockroom inventory. Now, as mentioned previously in one of my other videos, we have various different stockrooms within the branches. If I just jump through to this little schematic that I have here, what we have, if I zoom in just to make life easier, we have an external supplier delivering stock to your distribution center or to your warehouse. Now this is a distribution center, this is a retail branch as examples. There's multiple stockrooms within each, and where that really comes into its own is obviously when transferring from point A to point B. It'll be moved into an in-transit stockroom, and then when receipted, moved into an active stockroom. Lets you know exactly where that stock is, but along with that you have the ability to create various different stockrooms that you like. If you keep stock for replenishment, you can move it into a replenishment stockroom. If you withdraw it because it's seasonal, if it's damaged, all those types of things, you can sit in their own stockroom, and that becomes very sort of beneficial when viewing stock reports, when taking stock takes. You can break down your stock takes into smaller chunks. Plus you can also see exactly what stock you have as a whole, and what stock you have available rather than just your company levels. Similarly, when transferred to a store, if we have a look up here, there's an example, a distribution or an RBT from the active stock at the warehouse or the distribution into the in-transit stockroom at particular store. They receipt it into the active stockroom, and then you have the various different stockrooms here to do with lay-by, a remote stockroom or an off-site stockroom, and an RTM stockroom if it's damaged. Now those particular stockrooms, if I just close that, are exactly what we see through here. So we have inbound, in transit. This particular store that we're having a look at, which is branch 1, has these quantities on way to them, en route to them. They're in store, they actually only have 2 5s and 3 5.5s, and in their lay-by stockroom they're sitting with a 4.5. So very easy to see where that stock's sitting within the particular store, within that store as a total, and within the various different stockrooms. We've also got the ability here, if we click on this little view transactions button, that can go through and then narrow down the various different transactions that occurred for that item within that branch. And if we close that, as we see, we selected this particular branch. If I click on view transactions, intelligently enough the program will only filter on transactions that occurred in that branch, BR01 being the code for that branch. If I navigate back to the branch summary and click on view transactions, if I back up here and click on view transactions, I now get the transactions for all the particular branches, because I'm no longer got a particular branch selected or highlighted there. So again, very easy. This is one of the reporting methods we use as what we call an inquiry. If you're wanting to see why there's short stock, why one store's got more stock than the other, etc., you can quickly have a look-see there. Obviously you're not going to sit and analyze all that data in terms of reporting. We've got much easier ways to do that. So that's really your product master. As you can see, very nice to have images in there. It makes the association and the referencing of products that much easier, especially from your merchandising, your buying department. Looking at 30,000 codes, very, very difficult to distinguish, but an image, very, very easy to quickly identify. If we just jump back and have a look at the purchasing aspects now, sorry, I'm going to hop around a bit, but just wanting to sort of keep it fairly concise. Again, don't want to sort of have you in front of the computer for 40 minutes with square hours by the end of it. So if we have a look at the purchases, this is just an example of a purchase order, a order number 54398 there. The various 3 different lines that appear there, those are the different item codes associated with those order lines. You can see this particular order has been confirmed. Those others are yet to be confirmed. And if we have a look at the line detail, we've got shipment methods, unit price, rate of exchange if you're buying externally. Externally if you're importing, obviously. Add-on currencies if you include delivery costs, import duties, those types of things there. You've also got a little availability button which takes you through to another inquiry just to let you know exactly how much stock you have of that particular line, so you know not to over order. Fairly straightforward. Again, with images, that image applies obviously to the code I selected up there. If I jump through to this item here, the image obviously changes. It's a different product. So fairly straightforward in terms of the purchasing, but again, images make life very, very easy. There's a nice workflow to it. Allows you to move through, add multiple lines. You can obviously go through suspend, cancel, extend orders. You can part receipt, over, under receipt, those types of things. And obviously you have all the different order trails that go with it. So a very nice way of importing there. Again, as mentioned previously, which I'll touch on toward the end of the video, we have a purchase order import method, which allows you to import off an Excel spreadsheet, for argument's sake. Based on whatever information you have. Maybe you get it from your supplier in that form, and allows you to go through and create those in a much faster form. Sticking sort of with purchasing, more sort of towards distribution, I would say. Just want to show you just 2 of the basic distribution methods we have. We have what we call a product distribution. Now, a product distribution, simply put, is a single style being distributed to multiple branches. So if I just call one that I created earlier today, you have your header details, notes, images, who did it, information as such. Again, that little availability shortcut that can take you through, and then it will detail what stock you have, when stock is coming in. If we click on the detail here, it'll break it down. We've got a stock distribution going out there. That is our inventory stock. We've got an order coming in. Very easily, very quickly, we can see what we've got to make sure we A, don't over order, B, don't over distribute, likewise C, don't short distribute. You don't want stock sitting in the warehouse and then it misses the truck. If we have a look at the details, this breaks it down into the various different branches. I've just used 9 of the branches in this particular example here, distributed those sizes to those particular branches. You can limit things to country as well. You can limit the stores to area. So when you're creating the distribution, you can focus on a particular area at a time, a particular country, however you're wanting to do it. Sort of the converse of a product distribution would be a store distribution, whereas a product distribution, single style to many branches. A store distribution is single branch, many styles, or many styles to a single branch. So, I clicked on new there. Let me click on find and just call up one that I had previously created. I think it was this one. Yes, there we go. So here we have branch 01, which is the destination branch. Again, some header information, dates, references, and the various different codes that appear in here. So what we have, the old faithful Converse high top that I've been using in this example. These 2 items I've created, added to the distribution, but cancelled them, just to show you that you can cancel particular items if you make a mistake, without obviously throwing away the entire distribution and starting over. And then you have the different size curves, if we click on one of these, that are ordered for those particular items there, for those particular codes. This is also a scannable form as well. So if you work in an environment where you are doing these distributions on the fly, should I say, you can move the use either a wireless scanner or move the stock past a workstation and scan it into a carton, print your delivery note, drop it in the box, and off it goes. So those are available as well. And then obviously, as I said, cancel options. As sort of a rule of thumb, whenever you see something with that purple background, that's our cancelled, and the green complete, and the yellow is sort of active, should I say. If I click on one of these cancel lines as well, you do also have the option to lift. I can lift that cancellation, so I made a mistake, I cancelled the incorrect line. I can lift it again. It doesn't delete it, so to speak, making life easy there as well. Closing that, let us have a quick look at our administration module. Now, I mentioned previously we have what we call a price maintenance. Now, a retail price maintenance is really a markdown, a promotion, branch specific, country specific, those types of things. And what it really does is it allows you to filter a whole range of products based on performance, sell-off rates, overstocking, stock turn, poor sell-off, being sales versus stock, or just sort of poor sales. Or there's a range of aspects that you can go through and filter those items, and it allows you quickly and easily to go and put in a default percentage. We have a round up function as well, so if you want to reduce all the items by 20%, but you want to keep the 99, sort of the 69.95 or 99 sort of cent price points, you can do that to round it up to the nearest 95 cents or to round it up to the nearest 99 cents, whichever it may be. So again, very, very user friendly there. You also have the ability to export that to Excel, just to keep records of and to analyze and for reporting purposes. So if we have a look quickly at the utilities module. Now, our utilities module is, as mentioned previously as well, to do with the item import, purchase order import, stock count facilities. There's a range of features available within this product that just make the initial intake of stock that much easier. Typical example, should you have your discussions with your suppliers, or alternatively one of the international brands that you retail have sent you stock, it will send you what you are supposed to order, your quota, so to speak. You can import all those items at one time, all the different products, again working with Excel, importing all the products, the prices, the classifications, and it's very intelligent of telling you where something's wrong, where something's incorrect. In this particular example, there's errors on those tabs because there's no prices, there's no analysis codes in here, those types of things. Genders weren't selected, whichever it may be. And it allows you to quickly import that. Then from there you can go through and create your purchase order import and import all your purchase orders based on those particular products, and then when they arrive you perform a stock count, which allows you to go through and scan with wireless scanners all the individual items that were within that delivery, and obviously then GRV the stock. Much easier than sitting and processing sort of days, weeks on end, all the stock that arrives. Obviously it might be small amounts if it's your particular business type. You may have 3 containers delivered, every half year or every quarter, and you have manic sort of panic stations when everybody's going through and capturing those. So again, different strokes for different folks, so to speak. Loyalty, we also have a fully integrated loyalty module, so there's ways of adding different schemes, different points. How do you earn points? Do you want to be percentage based? And what that really does is allocates points to particular customers at the point of sale when they make purchases. The main benefits with loyalty, which we find very, very rewarding, are you can set a qualifying purchase value. Now, let's say hypothetically speaking your average sale was 100 Rand. You would implement this with a qualifying purchase value of 150 Rand, sort of egging your customers to hit that 150 Rand mark. So you're getting that extra 50% or 50 Rand, should I say, per purchase, and really driving up the basket size of each sale. That's one of the main benefits. The other obviously is the retention of customers. A hell of a lot easier to retain an existing customer than it is to find a new one. And what you can do with a campaign, very similar to the price maintenance, where you can go add items onto a campaign, allowing consumers or customers to earn triple points or to earn 10 times their normal points, or a bonus 40 points on this particular item. Those things allow for the revenue upfront immediately without having to sort of discount and sacrifice on your GP. You also have the option to include specific stores within a particular scheme. You can have multiple schemes running within one particular company, and within every scheme you can have multiple status levels. So you could have the sort of blue, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, whichever particular options you want, and then apply different rules to different status levels, obviously rewarding the customers for their loyalty. We also have speciality module, which has things like a sample manager, sample transactions, not necessarily so much for the retail game, but it allows more sort of for the importers and the wholesalers to be able to have tighter control over their samples. And then from a costing perspective as well, allocating your costing on your imports, because it's always a tedious task to allocate the duties, the delivery costs, all that type of thing over the items. We've got the costing modules which allow you to detail those types of things. Alright, just a brief scan. That was a brief scan of our fashion application. Just wanting to have a look at the different report functions for now. So if we have a quick look at the reports, you can fire off the report shortcut from the dashboard. This is the reporting module. The reporting menu, as you can see, has sort of 3 tiers generally. This, by the way, is also completely securable. As with the dashboard, any one of these menus can be hidden or displayed, given free access or denied permissions on specific users. So all of these can be completely secured based on one's role within the particular business. Similarly, with the reports, all these options can be hidden. So if you do want to allow only specific users within the organization to be able to view specific data, run specific reports, view specific functions, process specific functions, that's completely customizable. That's done through our admin module, the fashion security function. So if we take you through, I'm just going to use one example here, which is the inventory transaction analysis tool. Being a pivot table is very straightforward. What it does is it pushes out a large amount of data into the pivot table. So the menu we've got here is really simple in terms of a date range from to date. It can work with historical dates as well, and what it can do is it can also calculate the stock values at this end date. So very beneficial there. You can run your sales performance figures in this particular example for November, December 2009, and it will give me what the stock figure was at the end of 2009 for all my various different items and styles. You can limit it to specific branches and specific transaction types. If you're only wanting to analyze a small set of data, makes the running of the report sort of a little bit quicker as well. You just fire off the analysis tool from that little shortcut there, but I've already got mine open. So if we have a look at the pivot table that I've laid out here, what I've done is there's various different tabs along the bottom of the form, and I've taken in essence the same data set and just replicated it into different layouts just to give you an idea just how beneficial, just how easy and helpful these particular pivots can be. What I've broken down here is into the various different classifications. So we've abbreviated to class 1, 2 and 3. Now in this example, class 1 is defined as a gender, class 1 is a category, class 2 is a gender, and class level 3 is more of a department. So obviously just subdividing footwear into gender and then into the particular department. If we have a look, see here, we have things like Tackies All-Star, Tackies Dickies, active branded shoes, sandals, sports, whatever it may be. At the top structure here, at the top level should I say, I've broken down the GP value across your different categories, so it's easy to see that clothing is leading the way in terms of bringing in gross profit. Further on, I've now subdivided that particular class level to show a percentage of the gender per class level 1. So what it's saying here is that men's footwear sales make up 80% of the footwear sales across the company, boys and ladies 15 and 4.9 respectively. Similarly, clothing 91 versus boys 8.56, and smalls 100% men's. If we subdivide that now into the various different departments, we get a more accurate reading in terms of exactly where your money is coming from within the business. These little graphs are a lovely feature within Excel as well. It allows you to quickly identify over the selected range which has the highest values. So there at a glance I can instantly see that sandals contributes the largest portion, with some of the smallest being hoodies, fashion, or tackies, dickies for argument's sake, or hoodies active. And those are available in different colors as well. So really nice little features there. If we move on to an overview, what I've done is similarly taken class level 3 or department and now broken it down by transaction. So adjustments, POS credits, POS sales and transfers, all for sell, cost and quantities. Now these can all also be set in different colors, which makes life very easy to read, so you can just scan through and automatically pick up that any green relates to a quantity, any red relates to a cost value, and any blue relates to a sell value. Obviously with certain transactions like adjustments for argument's sake and purchase orders, there's no sale value recorded with that transaction, it's a cost value, whereas with sales and credits there's obviously a cost and a sale value recorded. These can be filtered out. Similarly, I've selected my adjustments to be in various different colors, so I can automatically at a glance by using your background color or using your text color identify which is which. Very nice to see there as well. Also, graphs are everybody's favorite thing to use as well. Now this really makes graphing very powerful, and very meaningful is a better word. If we look at this graph, it's not very meaningful because we've got however many departments, that really doesn't mean anything to anybody. So what we've got is we've got these slices that we insert. Now a slicer, just as sort of the name suggests, it will take that and chop it up into a more digestible chunk. So what we can do is if we click on clothing, what happens is it goes through and filters the various different data sets. So it is now filtered all my departments to only show me what relates to clothing. And you can see now that is much more meaningful. Now I just added class 1 and class 2. You could add class 3, you could add brand, you could add season, you could add whatever you like, whatever information is available within this pivot table, and you can add that in and dissect your data. So we've got clothing. I can select clothing menswear, and now it breaks it down even further. I can select clothing boyswear, and it breaks it down for me. Alternatively, if I just hold the control key, I can now select multiple class level 2s. So now this is including boyswear and menswear under my clothing labels. Similarly, if I click on smalls, I can include my smalls there, and that will now include it. If I'm wanting to see everything as a whole again, I can simply click on this little clear filter button, and now that will go and clear all the filters and return my full data set. As you can agree, I'm sure very user friendly, very nice from a managerial point of view, to be able to look at it and at a glance see exactly what's going on, where your money is coming from. This particular example breaks down branch. Similar to the class 3, but what I've done is just swap my branch with my classification, my classification with my branch. So now really to say over these time frames, where were my big sellers, where were my high performing branches, and I've taken quantity, sales quantity here, and I've added for December just again this little graph feature that I was talking to you about earlier. Now there again you can see branch 28 making up a large percentage, branch 39 making up a very large percentage, but over here branch 37 not contributing very much. So possibly one to look at there. Is it a smaller store? Is it a new store? Is it in a bad location? What may be going on there? So again, very easy to pick those types of things up. You can also see that it's been viewed as a percentage. So what I've said is show this value as a percentage of the total. Now what that really means is it's 2.63% of the company's sales were contributed from branch 14. Again, very user friendly, very beneficial, I'm sure you can agree. If we just quickly hop over to the other option I've created here, discounts and credits, what it really is in essence, again just sort of a nice little fun example, POS sales, POS credits, and these analysis codes, which are very important. I have mentioned it earlier on in the video and in some of the other videos. What it allows you to do is because you can analyze at transaction level, various transactions of the same type may be processed for different reasons. Now the analysis code comes into its own there, whereby allowing you to subdivide a particular transaction. So you can see here discounts. Why were the discounts given? You can see here why were the credit sales given. Similarly, when stock is adjusted, why was it adjusted? If stock was damaged and transferred back, for argument's sake, you can again include an analysis code. And that all that allows you to subdivide things, to help break it down even further, just to give you that additional control and to help you manage things even further. These obviously are completely customizable. They can be input by the users, so there's not a fixed palette, if you like, a fixed set of reasons. Those can be put in as and how you please. But basically what it's saying, if we have a look at this one as an example, that was the standard sale price, that was the standard price, that was the sale price, and there was a discount value given here. So it was damaged, rejected. There was obviously a discount given when it was passed as a credit. The final tab that I've put together is brand POs. This is just to show you exactly how the particular report can be used. What it does is it takes your different brands, it shows you what was purchased and what was receipted across the class level 2, men's and ladies, the cost and the quantity of those particular orders. So you can see at a glance over that particular period there was a total of 13 million rands worth of stock bought. Now we could also go and, if we liked, do things along this line. So if we right click on this data and we say value field settings, we can say show values as, and we can say a % of column total. Now what it goes through and does is now shows us a percentage. So what it's really saying to me is that as a percentage of the total bought over that particular period, I can see that menswear under Adidas made up a very, very large percentage. Again, if I just wanted to quickly, I'm just going to go highlight these percentages just to add those graphs in there that I was talking about earlier. There is a faster way to do this. However, I just found this sort of the easiest for now. What we can do is we can click on conditional formatting, color bars, and we can go now drop in the different color bars, as you can see. The alternative option you've got is you've got these different color schemes, which are also quite nice. Now if I select that, what it's showing to me is anything with a green background. If I just maximize this again just to make it easier to see, anything with a green background is a very high percentage, moving through the yellows and oranges down to the reds, which is the lower percentage. So again, also at a glance you can see anything green, very high percentage. If that's how you prefer to do it, you can do it that way. You can use different data graphs. Again, very, very nice, very user friendly, very easy to see. Similarly, if I just change back to my view there, I wanted to add additional fields. I've got my little field list here. Well, when I say little, it's actually not. There's a hell of a lot of information available. I can now go chop and change, add things in as I please. For example, I could remove my classification 2 filter. Now it goes and shows me purely at particular brand level. Or if I wanted to drop my class level there, so I have boys, men's, boys and ladies as a primary filter, makes life sort of depends on how you're wanting to view things. So if this makes life easier, then by all means do it like this, save this particular format, and then it'll just refresh once you change your data at a later stage. So depending on how you want to do things, there really is a range of means to do things. Alternatively, what we could do is we could say let's insert a slicer. Insert a slicer, and we could say let's select class 1 and class 2. And what else should we select? Is there anything else here that could be of benefit to us? We could select maybe style season. Let's have a look at those 3. Now what it does is it goes and drops these particular slices in here for us, just to make it that much more manageable. So again, if I click on clothing, my data is filtered for clothing. If I click on footwear, it's filtered for footwear. If I clear that, and now I can select my various different seasons. So if I'm wanting to select 2010 winter, that will go in and show me my data just for that season. For winter 09 and winter 2010, I can go select those particular items and it'll break it down for me accordingly. So again, you can see the strength of the reporting, you can see the strength of the product. It's really flexible, really customizable, and the best thing about these pivot tables, if I can now save this particular layout, and when I want to run this report next time, all my layouts are going to be exactly as they are. I simply just come into my report, reports module, change the dates, fire up my analysis tool, and then simply right click and refresh data, and it will draw through the new data. So if I were to go there and run that, for argument's sake, for the whole of 2009 and open it up again, it'll pull in all transactions for 2009. I obviously won't do it because I'm running this database just on my little laptop, and that'll take a while, but you can see this data was generated earlier, and there's certainly no performance issues. It's certainly running through nice and speedily. Well, that's in essence a nice little overview of some of the reports. I won't go through all the reports. You know, they're very sort of a lot of them are very straightforward. All the sort of the fixed layout, the white paper reports, as we like to call them, there really is a range. So for me to go through all of them will really just sort of lead to your concentration lapsing, I'm sure. So we can send through knowledge-based articles, we can send through report lists, but really there are a huge selection of reports available. We've got, just to touch on some of the basic report ones, purchase order financial values. You can analyze your lay-by tools, your daily sales values, transfer schedules, who sent what where and what the values were, store attendance, very, very useful, that analysis tool that allows you to break it down by user, by day, by hour even, so you can see which hours of the day your particular staff are selling their best at. Also very good to allow to help gauge when you should be closing your stores. If you're making very few sales from the 7 to 8 o'clock sort of time frame, for argument's sake, pointless keeping it open. And again, gauge weekend traffic, that type of thing. We've got more performance reports. Very nice, the SPIV report. It's an acronym for Special Incentives Voucher, allowing you to punt specific items if you've got high GP within your employees. So incentivize by offering special commissions for specific lines, specific styles that you just want to punt within the business. B, you might have high margins on them, whichever it may be. And there's a range of transaction analysis tools or pivot tables to deal with the various different sales data, etc., etc. All right, thank you very much for your time, for listening to this presentation. That really sort of wraps it up for the Fashion Avantage demonstration. Again, focused sort of toward the retailer, although this package, again, fully capable of handling all manufacturing, wholesale and import functionality and requirements as well. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.